Hey creators, welcome back to the club. We're your hosts. I'm Untitled Chapter.
And I'm Akila Friends.
Okay, you guys, so we have another guest in the house today. So if you're watching, if you are listening, we have the founder of The Cause International, a philanthropic clothing company who is committed to providing opportunity and hope. So we just want to give a really big, warm welcome to Antoine Taylor.
Yes, Antoine.
Welcome to the club. How you feel?
I'm feeling good. I'm loving the energy, man.
Yes.
Are you loving the energy?
Yes.
I'm loving the hair. I'm loving the hoops.
Listen,
We're just getting started.
hair and
too.
hoops. Hair, hoops, and energy. That's all we bring here.
Thank
Well,
you.
Period.
2022, all right?
Okay. Okay.
Antoine and Ebony, before we even get started, I want to know a little bit about the
Lord.
fact
Whoa.
that y'all
Whoa.
know each other. We're going rogue immediately.
Yeah, right. This is not on that
No,
line.
not on the outline,
Yeah,
but
straight to
before
it.
we go into the cause, I feel like
Of
we need
course.
to know more about the dynamics. What even brought you here today?
Wow.
Why? Let's talk. Let's take it down
Okay.
memory lane for a second.
So, memory lane, we met in high school.
Yes.
Antoine was obsessed with me, and
I wasn't even saying go that far.
Hey, big pause.
You doing it like that? You doing it like that?
Big pause. Big pause.
She's really having a blast.
but yeah, no, we met in high school. It was 20, what was it, 14? 13? What was it?
We graduated 2013.
Oh, you're right. So, 2009.
Wow.
Child. Okay, wow. It
2009.
was,
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. So
Yeah.
we met in 2009, and like we went to high school together, and then we just kind of like stayed close and tight like throughout college, and that's kind of where he started the cause in college, and so we'll let you take it away from there. You know,
Exactly.
kind of give us a little bit more background from like the business standpoint of like why you even started it. What was the point of starting it? I know you
course.
started with socks, so let's go there.
Of course. And just to clear up her first comment.
Oh my God. No, you don't need to clear it out. I said what I said.
Hey, it's her show, so we're going to keep it.
There we go. There we go.
But basically, just to answer your question
Yes.
in my form, just got a great love for Ebony. Knew her since I was a teenager. To see her grow into the woman that she is today, it's amazing, and I will always have love for her. Great friend, and I will always continue to show support
Clearly.
with anything
clearly.
and everything that she's doing. So.
That's it.
The obsession, hey, you know what I mean? We expect Ebony to do that though. So, but yeah. So to answer your question, Ebony, yes.
Yeah.
So how we started with the cause, actually even before I started selling socks, because I know that's like how I essentially started. I was washing people's clothes in college. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how it happened. And basically, I was pre-med. I had like 5 tutors. I played football. And I would be like traveling on the weekend, coming back like late Sunday night, and not knowing how I was going to pass my bio or my chem test. And
I know those days.
yeah, it was a grind.
Right.
And I think I'm not going to say I'm not smart, because I am extremely smart, but academically, it doesn't just come to me. But I work extremely hard, so like I just knew like if I had a goal I wanted to accomplish it, I had to put in that time. And with academics, I had to put in that time. So like I said, I had like 5 tutors. So what I was thinking is like, dang, like, and I also grew up middle class, but I didn't want to. I was in Minnesota. I was St. John's University, and I didn't want to ask my mom for money. So what I did was I started washing people's clothes. 'Cause I was like, man, I'm already studying either way.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go study in the laundromat. And it was
How are you finding that time? Like, I just, like, washing clothes and studying, like, I just feel like that's such, like, a distracting activity a little bit.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And it in the beginning, it kind of was, but then I just was thinking, like, man, like, how about if I'm, like, want to have fun with my friends on the weekend and I had no money? And I was put in a couple positions like that. And I just, in myself, I was like, I don't want to ever be in that situation. So, like I said, I was in Minnesota, completely different environment from LA. And I just realized that, I want to make a difference and make a change in, like, my situation. So that's what automatically I thought to. I wish I thought of something else, but...
I mean, that's how it starts, right?
Yeah.
You start with you. It's kind of like, okay, this is the environment that I'm in. This is what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
We got to change that.
Facts.
Right.
No, exactly.
Right.
And that's exactly what I
So
did.
how did you get from, like, washing clothes to then being like, I'm going to start my own sock line and, like, sell socks to the school
Yeah.
and students?
Facts. And honestly, like, even that, like, just like when I was doing it for like probably like 8 months, right? Like 2 semesters. And I was thinking in my head, like, dang, bro, I'm tired of watching people's draws. I want to switch it up.
Right.
And
Hell yeah, that couldn't be me. I don't know.
No, facts.
I barely want to watch my own, so I can't imagine watching anyone else's.
No,
there's a way.
No, facts. In Minnesota, they didn't even know how to wash their clothes, so they were gladly hitting my shit. So they were knocking on my door, and I was like, oh man. I remember one time I came home from a game, and like obviously it was a away game, so I came home back to my dorms, and I had 6 laundry baskets like right in front of my door.
Lined up. Not
and,
knowing your door, like, okay.
And that's when I realized, like, oh yeah, things gotta get different. So I was thinking, like, okay, what can I do? Like, what can I sell? And, you know, still have enough time to study, still have enough time to play football, and just enjoy college as well. So I just thought to myself, like, what could I do? And what I came up was, like, first I was thinking T-shirts or hoodies, but I was like, everybody does that. So then I was thinking, what about socks? And my first thing was like, how do I even get to socks? How do I even make it? I Googled it, didn't find nothing.
Right.
And I was like, everything was talking about how to buy in bulk. So I connected to one of my good friends now. His name is Carl Kanai, and his father, from New York too, legend.
Okay.
Carl Kanai. If y'all look up Tupac.
Wait, you're talking about the hip hop Carl
Yeah.
Kanai, who made all the hoodies,
Yeah.
the clothing, the everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also went to our high
Okay,
school for like a bit. Yeah.
Let's get into that. All right. Okay.
Okay.
So you hit up your resources.
Yeah, I
Got
have my
it.
resources.
Mhm.
And he's like, man, I don't really know anything about clothes, but my pops, obviously, is an icon.
Yes.
So I'm going to send it to him. And then Carl reached back out to me like a week later, and he gave me a site. His dad told me to go connect with this company called Silky Socks. And
That's cute.
Silky socks.
Silky Socks. And it was with the guy who just graduated from USC business school, like his master's degree. So like he was up and coming too. So I called him, gave him a call one day, was like, hey, like I got connected through Carl. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I want to order a sock. And he was like, 1 sock? I was like,
just one.
yeah, because I wanted a sample, right?
Right.
And
How much did that cost? Was it expensive?
bro, $55.
For that sample cost.
And I was like, that's some Vans, man.
Right.
I'm not doing that. And then so you know what I did? I was like, okay, I'm not paying $55 for a sock. So you know what I did? I started selling the sock on my phone.
Love that.
So like just like a pre-order type.
Right.
So I was already used to knocking on people's doors to wash their clothes. So this was a lot easier.
So they know you good for it. You gonna return the clothing.
They know-
Ain't nothing going missing.
And that's how God set it up for me,
Right,
because
right.
they had trust in me,
Mhm.
because I was literally
That's a good
like
point.
what you said, I had all their clothes because like they were paying me and there was no product.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? My bad, I didn't curse, but
You
We
can
do
you
on
can
this.
do whatever you want to do.
Oh, okay.
Do it all.
I'm not gonna curse. So I was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna try this. So I started going around my entire dorm, and I sold 521 pairs of socks in 1 week.
Kill it.
And once I realized, like, dang, like this is crazy. Like I literally went from like probably like $80 to my account to like I think I made $5,800.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I was like, damn.
We need to find that formula. That's bomb.
Right.
Bomb.
So I was like, man. So then when I called Danny, the Silky Socks owner, he was like, I was like, I need to order 580 pairs, and he said, wait, what? Like,
Right, from what?
Right.
580? What's happening with this?
so when that happened, I was just thinking to myself, like, dang, this is crazy. So socks came. I started obviously passing them out. People started loving it. It started going crazy. I talked to my best friends on campus, and I was like, all right, this is what I want to do.
Also, like, tell them what you were putting on the sock. Because
Oh, yeah.
just like you were
I
just
apologize.
selling a
Yeah.
sock or something. Like,
I
what was on
apologize.
it?
So our mascot at my school was called Johnny's. So I didn't want to put the logo because I didn't want to get in trouble for like copyright. So
Right.
I just wrote Johnny's with the cool font. And our student store at the time didn't have custom socks. So I just thought to myself,
Nice.
like, it was cheap. People want to, in college, they want to use their money for, alcohol.
Right.
And they don't have money to, buy stuff. They go to the thrift store.
Mhm.
And, well, that's what they were doing in Minnesota.
Right.
So, So-
Vintage shopping just became a thing.
Hey, Minnesota been on it. So we did that, and once people started seeing, like, dang, like, all right, these are cool, like, it's everywhere.
Right.
And they were trying to wonder, like, who was making them. And I was kind of low key at the time because I didn't want people to know too much. I didn't want to get in trouble because I didn't know if I was going to get in trouble for soliciting. So I was like, dang, I'm just going to keep it quiet. I was like, hey, bro, whoever gets it, just like chill. But obviously, word got out. Right. It was me. And like, I was like, oh, dang. And just
I don't know why you thought you could hide.
I know.
In Minnesota.
Hey, facts.
Okay.
There's probably like 20 of us.
Right. Exactly.
And I play on the football team. So
Yeah.
So keep that. So remember that I'm going to get in trouble for soliciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
So remember that point. So
take a note.
So when I got to 5,800, I was like, dang, like my goal was really only like 2 or like 3,000.
Right. Sell a couple.
That wasn't even like 3,000, just sell a couple. But like I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, if I can get 2,000 or 3,000, that'd be cool.
Dollars, you're saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
$2,000 or $3,000. I apologize. And then I was like, when I got that, I was like, dang. There's so many young men and women out there in worse situations, but who's those young men and women out there to make a difference? And I've always been somebody who wanted to be inspiring, to help out. That's just like who I've been.
Mm-hmm.
And even though sometimes I probably want to shy away with it because people used to maybe clown on me or be like, bro, you're a tryhard, or like just different things that I probably got like growing up, like people told me or like try to talk down on me. And sometimes, I took their comments and I kind of like believed in it. And then I realized, like, I was hiding away from, like, my truth of, like, who I am.
Yeah.
And that's when I think that moment when I chose to, like, I want to take $3,500 of the money that we just made, and I want to go to the south side of Chicago, and I want to, retrofit a Boys and Girls Club. And the reason why I chose south side Chicago, because remember I told you, like, after I sold the socks, I told my best friends on campus, like, hey, I got this business. I want y'all to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know it was really a business, but, like, I was like, I got this thing, and I want you to be a part of it. And one of my best friends, his name's John Oliver. He was the former president of the Cause International. And his story is amazing. Like, he grew up in Southside, played basketball with one hand, started on our collegiate team as well.
Wow.
His name's J.O. He's amazing. He inspired me daily. And he was like, man, I think we should go there. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's go to your Boys and Girls Club. Right. And we literally drove from Minnesota and freezing, like, it was like end of our first semester, so it was like negative like 6 snow. Like, we drove with a bunch of college kids from Minnesota to the south side Chicago.
Still cold.
Hey,
how many hours is that?
Like a smooth, I think 8.
Wow.
And guess what? We were in a school bus. A school let us. We're in a school bus.
Yes,
It was
amazing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It was, in your terminology, it was brick. So that's kind of like when I went out to Southside Chicago and we were at the Boys and Girls Club. This little girl came up to me and said, ran up to me, gave me a hug, and said, Antoine, thank you for giving me my first Christmas. And I think that feeling right there was like a high I've never felt before. It was like that feeling right there was like, dang, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. This is my calling. This is that moment where, like, when you're trying to find yourself in college, and even not even in college, but just like in life.
Yeah.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. In life. And I think that was like one of those points that God was like, hey, I'm speaking to you. Mm-hmm. I'm speaking to you through this girl. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I think from then, it was like, okay, this feeling is way better than any other feeling I've ever felt before. Like, I want to inspire the youth.
And way different than pre-med.
Facts. Way different than pre-med.
But even with that, right, it's almost like you always have an idea of what you want, because I think anyone who goes into pre-med most folks have that inclination to say, I want to be helpful. I want to serve. I want to be able to make a difference. And clearly, you did it in another way, so that's dope.
That's amazing. I didn't even think about it like that. That's probably why. And honestly, I'm not one of those people. My mom told me I could make a lot of money.
Or make a lot of money, right. Have a solid
That's the only reason my mom told me.
That's true. But then who else sticks around for 8+ years? I'm like, no, you gotta love this.
You gotta love it.
You
gotta love it.
Yeah, pre-med is like on another level.
No, it was a grind. So.
But it's a great way that you were able to, like, find another way to, like, help people, like Kayla said.
Facts, exactly.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of like how everything, like, really got moving. And then from there on, it just jump-started and we just started going crazy.
Let's talk about the going crazy. I mean, obviously we'll delve deep, but, like, that was day one. That was the first project.
Of course.
Take us from there.
Yeah.
to year 7.
Okay, so I'm just gonna like jump around. Not
right.
Too
Yeah.
Jump around.
We can't do. We don't want it every year.
Jump around to the most like thing.
Yes. So how has it grown in general?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So it went straight from all right, cool, we can do this now, to like me and my team like scaling back and be like, hey man, like this is crazy. And remember when I told y'all like I thought I was about to get in trouble for soliciting?
Yeah.
So I went to the Boys and Girls Club. We made we did like really cool. We got on a radio show. Like I didn't even know that was gonna happen. Like we just got out there and they're like, hey, we need you on a radio show.
So it was like after you went there and you were like, oh, we're gonna donate X amount of money.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, okay, cool, come.
So
and then when you came, they had like an interview set up.
So when I went there and they saw how much we gave back,
the
the Boys and Girls was like, bro, would you want to be on the radio show? And I'm looking at my teams like, oh, I've never been on the radio show. Josh trying to talk on the radio show? And they're like, nah, bro, you have to talk on the radio show. And I was like, man, like I'm kind of nervous, bro. So like, I did it, and I went in there, and like, man, like it was crazy. It was an amazing experience. It made me realize like I'm walking in my truth. Like, you know, I have grown men like telling me like, you're doing amazing things. And at this time, I'm only 19.
Wow.
So I'm like, all right, awesome. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, my mom don't know what I'm doing. She's like, you in Chicago? I'm like, yeah, Chicago.
So what you doing in Chicago?
That's really how she's talking. Like, what are you doing in Chicago?
Love that.
So when I got back to campus,
true and true, always keeping him in his place.
Hey, I definitely do need that. I think I keep that around with me. Yeah, I got to. So I got back to when I got back on campus, since we made like we were on the newspaper in Chicago.
Nice.
That happened. It got back to Minnesota. It got back to my school somehow.
And
somehow.
No, but like
you had to return the bus.
Yeah.
No, facts. To return the bus, but like, no, check this, y'all.
Right.
No. When I moved back to my school, y'all about to tweet. The president of my school emailed me and was like, "Hey, I want to have a meeting with you."
Yes.
No, I thought
you know you mentioned that. Yes. Be optimistic. Like, all right, you want to meet?
No.
Get your money. Like, yes. What's happening?
No, I'm thinking like,
Get ready to present her presentation.
I thought bro was
got
about
extra
to.
stock for you.
Right.
No, hey, respectfully.
Right.
No.
Antoine was like, I'm scared.
No, bro. I thought he was gonna say I need my 20. Like, yeah, you know, I was like, oh man. So I go in there. I said, hey, before we even start, I just want you to know, like, the money's already gone. Like,
now you give me a disclaimer.
Yeah,
The money's gone.
I already knew the jig was up. He said, I heard you've been selling socks in the email. The jig is up. So the jig's up. I'm going in there. I'm telling you, it's already gone, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's only 20 black kids here. You don't kick me out. So, and then he basically was like, man, like, calm down. We're not even on that. Like I was inspired by like what you were doing out there. And he said, President Hemisath, he said, so why are you pre-med? Like, I don't understand, like, why you pre-med? And I was like, he's like, you're an entrepreneur. And I was like, what's an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was.
Right.
I never even heard that word.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
So I'm over here like, sir, I don't even know what an entrepreneur is. And then he starts laughing, like just laughing. He said, you don't know what an entrepreneur is? And I'm like, yeah, I just said that. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know what an entrepreneur is. And then he just basically said, you are like the living proof of an entrepreneur. So he said, this is what I want you to do. So then he put me into this application portal to do, to be in the e-scholars program at my college. And I basically applied, didn't think nothing of it. I didn't even know what the e-scholars program, I was just doing that because I didn't want him to get mad at me. And I did it. 2 months later, I get a call like, hey, like we emailed you. You know when this college is sending you emails, but like, I didn't check.
You're right.
Yeah,
all right, cool.
You're already on Blackboard.
Yeah, bro. I'm already on Canvas. Bro, Canvas killing me, Moodle's killing me, all that. You remember all that? So I'm over here like, you know what? That's enough for me. But I get a call like, hey, are you gonna accept the position and be in the entrepreneurship program? And I was like, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what President Hemisath did. I was like, yeah, I didn't even know I was accepted. They like, yeah, we've been reaching out to you like the past like week and a half. We sent you like 4 emails.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And I was like, where you guys located? And it was literally like 2 minutes away from where I lived. So like it was on campus. And I was like, can I come in right now? They're like, yeah, like we would love that so we can get this cleared up, or we have to go to the next candidate. And I didn't even realize like I think it was like 400 applicants that applied, and they only picked 12.
Wow.
And I got it, and they paid for you to go to China.
Wow.
I had meetings with Google and Facebook because of them. I had pitch competitions, Spain. Like, literally, they put you in so many different positions that I didn't even know about. I didn't even know what I was applying to.
Right.
So, like, when I got in, I was like, wow, this is life-changing. And in my head...
What happens when you, like, have people that are kind of, like, watching out for you and, like, also see what you have going on.
Facts.
Because there's a lot of times, like, there's so many different programs, grants, this, that, and the third that people really don't know about. And people are like, yeah, this money's just sitting here and no one's claiming it. It's because people don't know about it. But it's, like, if you have those people that are, like, in line to be like, no, you need to get over here and can pull the strings to be like, no, accept this person.
Yeah.
It really changes everything.
No, facts. And that's exactly what y'all both said, especially what you just said, Ebony. That's exactly what I think was happening for me. So I got in, and then from then on, now it's about to go fast. So then on, I started a whole business, started moving with the entrepreneurship program, got me into amazing positions. Then with that, I started realizing, like, okay, I'm going to evolve from socks. So let me do, like, apparel. Let me do, like, hoodies. Let me do T-shirts. Then we start selling out of that on campus. Like, I'm talking about we selling units. Yeah. We selling 1,000 units. Like, I'm like 1,000.
Selling units. Selling out.
It's going crazy. Like, what? We going stupid. Like, people know about the cause.
So is it now, it's all just branded your school stuff? Like, still?
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, over here, boom, boom, boom. Now I'm getting into my junior year. Like, people know about us now. So, like, now I'm like, all right, cool. Like, what we going to do now? So
what was different, I guess, and like, didn't they have like school apparel? Like, didn't they have like, but then
we were just swagging.
Yeah,
I know this person.
Exactly, I know who this is.
Because like at the end of the day, it was Minnesota.
Yeah,
you know, like they come on the bookstore.
They never saw nothing like you before. They said, "What's going on?"
You didn't just charge $1 under.
Yeah.
It was
vibing. You know, like, you know when Straight Outta Compton came out.
Yes.
But Straight Outta Collegeville. They thought they thought they were so hard. Right. You know what I mean? So they loved Ice Cube. So you know what I mean. I took that part, put it in situations. We just made it cooler, made it fun, made it more us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't as simple as just a logo.
Right.
So
that's even with that, like, I'm kind of like, sometimes you don't gotta think so hard. Like, that's the biggest thing with entrepreneurship that I sometimes have to figure out. It's just like, you know what? The solution is right there. And it's super simple. You just gotta execute in a way that just makes sense. Like, so the fact that it's just apparel. You have the vision, but you're doing it through apparel that already exists, but you're putting your own spin on it. And
on top of that, like, I think, Antoine, what really, like, propels you, and like maybe in front of like other people would be like your personality, because like, he really like sells himself. So it's like, even if you were like, like the the merch is whatever, you'd be like, no, but I believe in the person. Like, like, I like his energy, I like what he has going on, I like what he's telling me, and he's like, really animated. So that always adds a little extra.
I'm trying to get better with that. But
no,
that's part of it.
That's you.
See, I got. Yeah, you're right.
You're like, actually, never mind.
Honestly, that is me. So basically, like, from then on, we just start going through that, and then we start thinking like, okay, now we're going into, and with those, my bad. And with those times that we were doing apparel on campus, we also were able to do different give backs with the money that we were making. So we went to Skid Row in downtown LA, passed out 500 hygiene kits. Actually crazy, I was in downtown LA probably like 4 months ago. I seen one of the backpacks I gave back.
Wow.
5 years ago, so that was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I went to Detroit, where I helped out and gave back to Martin Luther King High School to their seniors. Then I went to Flint, Michigan, when I gave back, I think, 200 water cases to the homeless shelter when they didn't have like any type of water, especially with not even just like, they didn't have water, and then also they didn't have drinking water because it was fun. Their funds were low due to like what was happening in Flint. So we gave back there. And then when I realized that, though, like, those givebacks were cool, but I realized I wasn't changing anything. I realized it was just like, not to be harsh on myself, but I realized like, you're just giving back because, not that it sounds cool, but like, you're just giving back because like, you weren't really changing the problem, though. Like, I thought like, I'm giving back and I'm changing the problem. But I really wasn't changing nothing. I was just helping out for the next month.
Right.
So then I got checked by one of my friends, one of my business partners in the team. I was like, bro, we're going crazy. And he was like, it was his name's Abdi. He was the former co-founder of the cause. And he's from a refugee camp in Kenya. And he basically said, like, I was like, bro, we're doing crazy. Like, we're doing good. And he's like, we're doing good, but like, we're not changing nothing. And I was like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, we're going crazy. Like, we are changing stuff. And he was like, we're changing stuff for a month, and then they go back to the same situation they were. So he said, if we're going to keep doing this cause, we need to actually change things. And I was like, damn.
Right.
I thought I was doing good. So
you are, but you know.
I wasn't changing nothing. So then, even though that we were giving back, we weren't really like changing the problem. And I think that was like an ego check, and it also made me realize like it's time to step it up to another level. And that's how our next give back, we went to Guatemala and we installed water filters. So these water filters that we installed for rural villages in the city, for 8 years, they will always have like running water or not running water, but it would be like purified.
Like purified water.
Yeah,
right?
purified water. So they have drinking water that they can use. Because when I went out to Guatemala, that was our first international trip, because like we always say we're the cause international, and we weren't even being international. And when I went out there, I was able to see like, man, like, I understand, like, I thought I understood what struggle was. And when I was able to go to Guatemala, see how the kids were like walking to school bare feet, using the same clothes, not having a washing machine, and they were still happy. They were still trying to fit. They were still excited to go play, right. And like it was every day to them. So like when I started looking at that, I was like, dang, like you really weren't doing anything. And like in my head, I really thought I was like doing something big. And when I was and now I understand where he was coming from, because he grew up in that, right? So like he's seen it. Like he didn't have running water.
Yeah.
So like I've never had that. You know what I mean? I'm privileged. So in my head, I was just like, okay, now it's time to turn up the hustle even more. And now it's time to like really like truly understand, like when you say you're going to make a difference, when you say you're going to change the world, do you really, like, you got to understand what that really means.
Right.
And can you even do it? And are you willing to even do it? Because it's hard. Like when you say that, like when you want to give back, it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
And that helped us, and that allowed me to understand, because when I got to Kenya for our next give back after Guatemala, I think that was like the point in my life when it was like make or break it time. It was like, hey, are we really gonna do this give back? Are we really gonna push that? Are we really gonna apply that pressure?
Right.
Because this Kenya trip now that's a give back. That's something that you changing that whole community forever. Not for 8 years, not for a decade, forever.
What did you do in Kenya?
I was able to go out to Kenya, and I was able to install a water filtration system for an entire village of 8,000 individuals in the village who didn't have running water. And they used to pray to God for rain. So they can because they had a system where they purified. The rain would fall, obviously, and then they would have a purifier that purified the rain.
Oh my God, it doesn't sound like it rains often.
Yeah,
right.
It was pretty hot out there. So like I was just thinking to myself, like, when I was out there, when I was in the moment, I just took times, like, away from everyone to, like, really look like, dang, bro, like, this is what Abby was talking about.
Right. Yeah. Have that opportunity to reflect. And what I love, too, about, like, obviously the grind and the story, obviously you understanding, one, taking other folks' perspective and recognizing, okay, it's still good that you were able to put a Band-Aid on a problem, but now it's like, no, let's actually think about the cause. Let's think about what's happening in these areas and what can we do to stop things from happening on the same level, month over month, year over year. So that's amazing. And what I want to also mention is the fact that obviously it's international, but you're doing things domestically too. Because oftentimes what I've noticed with a lot of nonprofits that are service oriented, or when we think about service or doing service, we immediately go abroad. We immediately go to the most developed country or developing country, the third world country, and not thinking of our own backyard. So the fact that you did stuff in Skid Row, the fact you did stuff in Detroit, Chicago, and Guatemala and Kenya, amazing. But it's like, don't forget about there are things that are happening right here.
Yeah, you know? And I think that's so true. And I was thinking about that too while you were talking, because I was like, do you ever feel like it's kind of overwhelming? Because like, there is a ton of places and people that do need help, like here, U.S. And overseas. So it's kind of like, you're not, a small team, like you have a huge team, but at the same time, it's
Mm-hmm.
small when it comes the
Facts.
idea of like, how many people actually need help. So do you ever feel like pressure to like figure out what the next project's going to be, the next thing? Like, like, do you ever feel pressure about that?
No, I definitely do feel pressured about that. And that's why I kind of switched the way I was giving back, because I was giving back to every single cause, and just realistically, you can't change that. You have to zone in and focus on the causes.
One thing,
exactly.
Right? Like if it's homelessness, let it be that. If it's like money, finances,
exactly.
That is it. Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then when I start to like zone in and focus on like domestically, I want to help in education. I want to help high school kids not just go to college, but find what's next for them. Like, connect them to vocational schools, connect them to like internships to help them with, figuring out if they want to, be in music, be in production, show them different ways how you can get into music. You don't have to be the artist. You can go be an A&R.
Right.
You can, just showing them different areas.
Options.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when I zoned in on that and made me realize like, okay, like another part of how we give back to the cause is we help high school kids get to college, or like I just say, different ways for their future. And in the past 3 years, we helped 71 kids get to college.
Nice.
And that's what I feel like I have motivation in that, because I love that. Because that time when you're a senior and you're trying to figure out what's next,
right?
That's
stressful.
It's stressful. And when you're ambitious and when you want to be somebody, when you want to do something great, when you want to change your family's situation, I think sometimes we get lost, and like we're honestly just shooting aimlessly, trying to figure it out. And it's cool to just have people like in different industries that can help you. So I love that. Yeah. And then obviously internationally, I want to stick with water.
That's great. With both causes or with both things that you're doing, you see that you're creating a ripple effect. You know what I mean? Obviously, with teaching folks or helping kids get to college, there's no telling what they can do once they're there or once they have that kind of like door. And obviously with water filtration, I mean, water is the main thing that you need for life.
Exactly.
So it's incredible. So
exactly.
Okay, cool.
And the networking.
Yeah.
It was really cool. This year was the first year I helped a high school kid get to college, and he interned for me to help high school kids get to college.
Nice,
that's
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And be able to like create opportunities too for other people to like either work with you or have that same space. I would like to also like transition into 2020. So we're gonna take it back.
Yeah.
A year or two. Right?
Wow, a year or two
I know,
at this point.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So 2020, as we all know, was a very like pivotal year for most people, or maybe brought light for other people who maybe didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
So with the Black Lives Matter movement, as a brand that's in the forefront of like social change and wants to be involved in, the cause and changing, the world. What was how were you able to kind of like leave your mark on that movement and in that space at that time?
So during the time with Black Lives Matter movement, that was like when I was really getting back to being acclimated back in LA from the transition from Minnesota to LA. I've probably been in LA probably like for 6 to 8 months, and people were starting to realize, oh, okay, he's back in the city. And during that time, it was tough for me because how the cause makes majority of their money now is we do apparel for high schools and colleges. That's like a part of the cause, and the other part is the streetwear.
Right.
So that part of the cause shut down, and we lost like 75 contracts. So this is like literally me working my ass off, and everything gets shut down because of that.
Right. So, and then tell the people, because I don't think we told them
what
what you do for the high school kids, like selling the packages of the.
So run it back.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. No. It was the way I asked the question, so it's not a big deal. I just wanted to like clear it up since we brought it up.
Okay. So basically, with the Cause International, we have like 2 sectors of our company. We have the sector with our athletes, where we basically customize apparel for high schools and colleges, and then we take a % of our profit and we use that to help out with basically just different ways of how to get kids to college, right? And then we have their streetwear brand where we sell streetwear apparel, like what you see right here.
Yes, let's read it out for the audio. Black women deserve better.
Come on now.
Period.
Come on.
You should probably put the period.
Yeah.
So we do that, and then we take half of our profit, and from the profit we make, and we donate that to us traveling around the world and giving back to those in need.
Nice. Okay.
So that's kind of like two sectors. So like when this hit, it really affected like our main source of income, which is the schools.
And having the contracts, right?
Yes, I had 75 contracts, which is,
And so when you have the contracts with the schools, I just wanted, because I don't think
my bad.
We went in there. Contracts with the schools, what are you contracting? Like, what's the deal?
Okay, so like.
What are you giving them?
Okay, so when I say spirit pack, I'm basically like, let's say you go watch a basketball game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before the team is about to play, they warm up. And they have like their own warm-up suits. They have their dry fits. The coaches have their polos. So I make all the apparel for every single sports team.
For high schools.
For high schools.
Right.
So that's what we do at the Cause International. And it's our clothing. Nice. It's not Nike. It's not Adidas. Right. It's the Cause. So.
Period. Okay.
Hey,
right up there.
Hey, respectful to everyone. But, I'm coming for it all now.
There we go. There we go.
And that was tough too, because like you have to understand, like I'm pitching to colleges, to high schools, that I understand Nike and Adidas, everybody wants.
Right.
But the Cause has, material just like them. Mm-hmm. It's cost efficient, and you're giving back to a cause.
Right.
So I think once we start getting our youth to understand that, I think it's going to allow us, just to become better as a nation. So I think that's why I really want to push that agenda.
Yeah.
And, I had 75 schools signed up for that.
At the time in 2020.
Yeah, at 2020 for the 2020 from the 2020 to 2021 season.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been that upcoming fall, right?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So and because like how they do is they do all their budgets like in like right before summer.
Right.
So they have everything when they come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 75 contracts, which is like $250,000, and that was probably the best thing I've ever had.
Yeah.
Ever. And I lost all of it because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So that also like hit me like personally, just like dang, I just worked my ass off for this, and I was already feeling some type of way. I was down, but also realized during those moments, during those times where I was down, I can't stop. And it's also a bad thing too, not to go too deep into it, but my entire team like left. So I moved. We came out here with like 4 people, and everyone. Kind of left back home because obviously like they already sacrificed so much, to run a startup. And when it was looking good and then boom, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like how many more years are they going to have to suffer?
Right,
they want to start their lives. They want to start their families. So I was in a position where another back against the wall figuring out like, hey, do you really want this?
Yeah.
Are you really willing to like...
That's a moment right there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a moment to want to be like, I want to quit. Because there's too much. Like, who are you going to call on? Who's helping you figure it out? Especially,
you versus you at that point.
You versus you. Mm-hmm. And I'm breaking down everything with them. So, like, we all living in my mom's house.
Wow.
Making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And, thank you, Mom, for
doing all
that.
Shout out to Miss Tia, okay?
Because anybody who knows Miss Tia know that she coming with everything. So,
right. She's not going to make it easy for you.
At all. So, like, I think she did all that, and she's a tough, loving, person. That's why I love her. But she did all that because that's how the world is. If my mom didn't raise me like that, I wouldn't be able to take all these punches.
You would have folded.
Yeah, exactly. I would have folded big time. So, just like that, everyone left. And it got down to like, am I going to keep doing it? And there was just something in me that said like, Twan, I know it's looking bad. I know it's looking real yeasty outside. and
is that a thing? It's about to be. Yeasty, okay. I think you need a shirt. It's getting yeasty outside.
Hey man, it's getting real crazy out there. And just like breaking it back down to like really understanding like, no, you said you wanted this. This is gonna be a story. Mm-hmm. This is about to be a Netflix special. It's about to be a Hulu if you keep going. Okay. And I just talked to myself and just kept telling myself that. And like people around me like, bro, like you giving up opportunities. I got into grad school. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like I'm just thinking in my head like,
nah, at this point it's like you gotta make it work.
Yeah, you gotta make it work.
You ain't got no choice.
It's gonna be over. So I just doubled down on myself and I kept going. And to look back at it like now and 2 years later to have my company already running back up and running, have 2 employees that work full time, and having 4 other on payroll, like part time.
Amazing.
So that's that right there.
Yeah,
made me going into 2022. I was just in my head just thinking like, dang, like you really overcame so much.
Yeah.
And it also made me realize I can do anything.
So, just to add back into like, my question, which was kind of like
within Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter movement.
Okay, my bad. So
no, it's fine because
but this was all it all
made sense.
It made sense. It was all 2020.
Exactly. Right. 2020 was a lot. It's a lot going on. So how did you make an impact or like leave your mark with Black Lives Matter, or how did it affect you either personally or business wise? That we're like, you know what, I want to change X. I want to focus on maybe this certain community or whatever.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing was to just get more people to know. To just understand like what we go through, you know,
Black people.
As Black people, My bad. Us.
I know we all talking, but you know,
Let me make sure. So just have people understand what Black people go through daily, you know, and it's crazy because so many people see so many like racist like things that I've been through, and I just I overlook it. Because I'm so used to it. And that's a problem.
And it's a problem. And you know, it's crazy. I feel like sometimes I feel like I wouldn't have even, like in high school, I don't think I ever would have even been able to identify necessarily.
No,
like a microaggression or like something that someone said to me was a problem. I'd be like, oh,
you felt some type of way. You kind of did a side eye. It was like, okay, well, that's weird. That's you.
Okay. But then now, it 2020 also put in perspective for me too, to be like, nah, like that's a problem.
Right.
Like
that's a problem. It's time to speak up.
Yeah,
right.
And
find your voice.
I think what I want to show people is like even through like all the stuff that like going through with Black Lives Matter, going through personally, it was to show people like, and I think I was open too. Like I was telling people about like my L's because I think that's really important. So like going through the L's and even just having that whole, not even having the whole situation with Black Lives Matter, I think what was really cool for me to do is I turned a negative into a positive.
Okay.
And I used that as motivation to, figure out like, okay, this is what's happening. Now how do I get more people to understand? Now how do I get more people to be behind? Now I'm not at a point right now where I can give back because I don't have enough money. I just lost my team. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a t-shirt at cost so I can get more people in it so they can speak their truth. If you buy this t-shirt, it's free. All you have to do is pay for shipping or come pick it up.
Right.
So I'm going to donate money to make the shirts. All you have to do is, like I said, either you can pick it up for free or pay for shipping. And all I want you to do is post about it and talk about Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And I did that, and I sold 1,800 t-shirts in a month.
Nice.
Wow.
And, well, not sold, but gave away 1,800 t-shirts in a month.
Yeah.
And I also, because of that put me in a position my t-shirt went viral, and I went on the Roddy Riches and Baby's music video.
What was the shirt?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. It said our cause, it says our cause, and it said all the names, not just George Floyd.
Right. That's another thing to really make sure.
I identified everyone. And, the past 2 years.
Yes.
I couldn't get everybody.
That we could.
But, so, our cause, and it's George Floyd, and it said all the names, and it had a black fist, and then at the end it said, what's your cause?
Love that.
So talk about the Roddy Ricch music video because it was on BET Awards.
Yeah, so it's on BET Awards. Nice. So I get on set because of that. Yeah. Right? So I get on set, and then I'm like, those situations you're like, you're around different people, and like some people shy, and like I'm not sure if I'm doing too much.
Yeah.
I think I got hit with so many right hooks in 2020 that I deserve to go crazy.
Right. Yeah.
So I was in a position, I was like, you know what? I'm about to go crazy. So I had all my shirts in my car, and I brought it on set. So like when wardrobe came, wardrobe did everyone, right?
Oh my God.
So I went back in my car.
Yes.
And I went back onto set, and I gave everybody our cause t-shirt.
Love that.
So they wore it in the movie?
No, so they wore it, right?
Yeah.
So they wore it, and then when the director came on, they're like, wait, why is everyone in the same thing?
Antoine, so you did this without anybody's permission?
Wait, let's get into it. Right.
You were just like, the wardrobe people came in.
Did it.
Yeah. Dressed them.
Yep.
You came and got your shirts and said, no, put this on.
Yes.
So I am weak. And everyone was like, okay with it?
Because what are you going to do? You think you're a part.
Exactly.
If you walk in a purpose. It's
had a bag, it looked cool. They're like, this shirt's better than what they got me on. White people styling us. Like, no disrespect to white people.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm coming in, I'm saying, I think it was one of the moments where you have to do it. Right. So director comes on, he's like.
Go ahead, Antoine. Amazing.
And it was probably even better because the director was white, so like, he couldn't even get into it that much. So,
right.
You know what I mean?
So he couldn't be like protesting.
Yeah, because
all the shirts. shirt you gonna die on? No.
Yeah,
You're not gonna get canceled. No.
So he looked around and he was like, and I'm talking about like we got like actors, models in here, and everyone's like looking, and then he says like, wait, who gave him all these t-shirts? Director, I'm talking about in front of everybody.
What'd you say?
I just walked up and I said, I gave everyone just because I think it's meaningful. This is what we're really making this music video about, and like just saying like justice. It's like we're not even saying their names,
Right.
So I just felt like we had t-shirts that says justice for all,
right,
and it said for all.
It's just like all like that. Not when we're talking about
I was sick.
Yeah.
So
I
was sick. So like maybe I also like ignited my
flame. Like
exactly.
This is my why.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
This is my cause.
Right.
Come on now,
The cause.
Come on,
This is the cause.
Yeah. So then I did it, and man, we went there, and he said, "Okay, you know what? I can't have everybody in it, but what I want you to do is I want you to be front center with Roddy and the baby because I want everybody to see their names."
Okay. So what did the artist say, or they didn't have any say?
Oh no! Artist was like, yeah, he needs to be right here. Oh, like the baby was literally like, oh yeah, no, that shirt need to be right here.
Yeah.
And then Roddy came in late, so I think he didn't
care. He was like, all right.
He was already on top.
Show me where I gotta go.
Yeah, he was like, I'm trying to shoot this and get about.
Right.
But yeah, so the baby was like, yeah, no, like have bro be right here. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like how it happened, and like it went crazy. But then
how did you even get to the point of being in the room to have a music video? Like or be in the music video.
Right. So on the BET Awards.
Right. Hey, some LA stuff.
Okay, because I was we're talking about what happened once you're there.
Yeah.
You better go off. But
so someone who knew somebody who knew somebody.
Yeah, so my friend was like, damn, bro, like, what you doing with your shirt's crazy. Mm-hmm. His name's Charles Parker. Got it. I'm throwing
we name dropping. I love
Charles
that.
Parker.
Yeah, start name dropping around here.
So I did that. Charles Parker had to connect. I think it was his auntie or his auntie's friend. He said, bro, I'm gonna show him your shirt. I'm trying to get you in. And I say this too because I never get to say this, but I managed like this guy named D-Rock, and at the time, hey DZ, did you go to this thing or no? Did you go to the? My bad. Can I do that?
Yes. I mean, we kind of jumping off the screen, but it's all good.
No, you didn't go. Okay,
that's good info.
Yeah. So no, I did. And I apologize, but I can't. I'm so glad I get to say this. So this is so cool. So So how I got there? So like he was like, hey Antoine. She said literally bring. Oh my God. Okay, my bad. Let's rewind. So I give it to Charles. Charles gives his auntie or his auntie's friend, whatever. Send him the shirt. He's like. She said, anyone that's affiliated with you, send them all the photos. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, bam, I'm putting my whole team on.
Right.
So I sent all of like my friends, and literally like I think I sent like 40 people, and I think they like chose like 15 of us, or like 12 of us. And I manage Wendell, and I also manage this artist named Davies, and they some handsome man.
Oh, okay.
Respectfully, Samantha Wells, love her. But, they some handsome man. But all I have to say is, you know what I mean? They didn't make the cut. You know what I mean? I just had to say that a little bit, Obviously, I guess I had that.
You made it. It's all part of life. Everybody got to eat.
You know what I mean? I'm usually in the back, so,
That's my time. Front and center.
That's kind of like how I got there, though.
Okay,
so from a friend of a friend.
Amazing. And the reason why I even wanted to bring that up is not to say, okay, like, how'd you get there, whatever, but it's more like to say, like, yes, anybody can vouch for you, can sponsor you, can have you say, like, in the room, but it's up to you once you're there to make it count. And so clearly,
he did that.
Clearly, you did that. So it's not even about, like,
I was going to get kicked off set.
Exactly.
I was going to get kicked off set.
And that could have very realistically happened.
But you just got to be ready to take the risk.
You got to be ready to, exactly. I want to make sure that we touch on, too, obviously, the cause, we know what you're doing, we know the service that you're providing to communities everywhere. But I want to touch a little bit on the business too. Like, you're able to now, 7 years in, do this full time.
Yeah.
This is your job. This is your passion, but it's also your means to an end, right?
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about how are you able to do that? Because oftentimes when you hear people say that, it's because they're for profit all the way. But this is you got your service component too.
Of course.
Talk about the partnerships. Talk about the brand deals. Talk about just how do you keep this business running.
I mean, and more than just a float, right?
Right.
Like, kind of making it successful if you're living off of it and being able to pay yourself and pay employees.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it just started off with it started off like when we first got out and just understanding the market and just understanding like what we had to do, to put ourselves in our position. And I think one thing that a lot of business owners like mess up in the beginning is like they might touch like like thousands of dollars, and instead of investing it back into their business, they may use it to like, I work so hard, so let me at least get 5,000. You know what I mean? They don't invest it right back in their business. And like I budgeted to live off scraps, and I also live with my mom, and that took me, like my ego aside, just to understand, because I have a 10-year vision. I have like what I want to do, and I could have moved out, being in a different situation, but I chose to continue to reinvest back, because I knew if I'm working hard like this, it would be a mom and pop shop. I want this to be a corporation.
There we go.
I want hundreds of employees eventually. So I understand in order to do that, you're gonna have to sacrifice for 2 to 3 years. But when you really step back and look at it, you're like, bro, what is 4 to 5 years of really grinding? Especially when you truly love what you're doing.
Right.
I think that's where we kind of mess up, because we're impatient. We want it now. We live in a world with instant gratification.
Yeah.
And I think if anybody's followed my story from the jump, it's been like, Twan, stay down. You know what I mean? You can't even name a time where I veered off in a different situation. The only time I had to is because COVID happened.
Right.
And I didn't.
But even then, yeah.
Even then, we still like you said, we tied it back in. We got on the BT Awards.
Yeah.
Like, it's just situations like that. And then also understanding like you can't help everyone. And you also, like, somebody might be your friend, somebody might be the person that you started with. And I think once like my people left, it really hurt me, but it also made me realize like I was really moving this a lot, and I could put other people in position not at that cost.
Yeah.
And I was literally I was breaking it down. Anything we touched, we breaking it fairly. That's how I was moving.
Yeah.
And now I'm in positions where I can pay somebody like what they really deserve.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's important to say.
And I think that was kind of hard for me, because I'm such a loyal person, and I'd rather suffer than you suffer.
Right.
So, because like at the end of the day, I know I can control myself, or control my feelings. But like I had to realize, like I had to start, putting myself first. But not even just putting myself first, putting the cause first. And I think me doing that for these past couple years, now I'm able to, benefit off of it. And I still in my mind, I'm like, I want to get there. But I also am getting better at realizing, like, man, you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like what you said about like just like the pivot situation in business, and how you were kind of saying that you had to like, your team left, and then you had to kind of be like, well, you know what? Let me change my mindset. I can put other people in these positions. Yeah. I can still do what I need to do and build my team that way, and it doesn't have to, cause the extra,
facts.
plight of someone else, like having to move from one state to the next or something like that.
If that's not really, if they're not in it for the same thing, or
exactly,
because not everyone's going to have your same vision, right?
And that's it.
Yeah.
Even if, and it's interesting, because usually we say that not everyone has your same vision. It's because like, okay, you hired them, they're an employee or whatever else. But sometimes that can be, as you alluded to, let's not say if that was a reason or not, but like, you probably founded it together, and still you may not have the same vision, right? Or same interest. But
and ultimately, like, I founded it, but I always marketed it and said we all did it together.
Oh, okay.
So like they knew inside, like, man, Antoine's just being Antoine. But we know, like, they knew what it was.
Right.
So like I think also, like, since they're so big in their own like situation, like their own lane, they're all amazing independent leaders.
Yeah.
I think they need to go like find their own situation.
Yeah.
And I support them fully. I love them to the death. They still my brothers forever. And I it didn't work out now, but it's probably going to work out in something different, 10 years later.
Obviously, we talked about how you partnered with different employees or folks that help build the business. Yeah. But now it's like, obviously, you also partner with a ton of organizations and a ton of like influencers and the like. So let's talk about some of the major ones that you've done as of late that you want to shout out.
I think I want to... We were going to do something extremely big with Uber, but COVID happened.
Oh.
And
COVID
was really messing up. Right. Everybody
we had something exactly. See, you already knew, because like Uber was like probably like one of our biggest partnerships, because it was local. We're gonna actually we're gonna donate a scholarship that was gonna pay for child's tuition
Amazing.
I mean, students' tuition. One of our student athletes that we were helping, and they were going to pay for all the tuition. And we had like a whole essay prompt ready. Also, our kids were going to tour Uber headquarters, but the nonprofit division, because of COVID, shut down.
Dang.
So that sucked.
So wait, it's just completely shut down, like not even a thing.
For that division in LA.
That's so specific.
I know.
Yeah, that's
Out of
another,
all
like,
right.
Oh my goodness.
It's like right there when you think you're about to grab the apple off the tree,
right.
and it's like it just it falls before you can get it. Like what?
Respectfully, it was already grabbed.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I just didn't eat it yet. So that's kind of like what happened to me. So I was hot. So that happened. So I want to touch on that because I think people saw us moving with Uber earlier. And then also the Boys and Girls Club, what we did in Chicago, we became actually board members in the South Side of Chicago.
Oh, nice.
For what we did. And what we currently have done, like last year, the end of last year, we did apparel for YouTube turned boxer, Jake Paul. And I did...
How is that? Like, how is he? Just like as a person, he seems very intense.
Man, honestly, I've only met him once. I usually talk to his personal assistant, and I talked to his strength and conditioning coach, and that was the guy I was connected with. So I met him obviously when I dropped off the apparel the first time, but the other 2 times they already knew what I did, so I already met him.
Right.
But he seems intense. But at the time that I met him, it was like a week before the fight. And this was before Nate Robinson.
Which fight? I was going to say
Nate Robinson. So I was there the first one.
Primary.
Oh my word.
So like he was like really locked in, and you could just tell the way he moves. Like one thing about him, he can be intense. He's definitely intense, but I know for a fact that he's one of the hardest workers that I've seen. So.
I mean, I was looking at those YouTube videos. The Instagram. He's definitely locked all the way in.
Yeah, he's locked. Now the other situation, you know what I mean? I don't know, bro, personally, so I'm just here to do my job.
Right. I mean, how was that kind of collaborating with?
No, it was good. It was good.
A pretty famous YouTuber, I would say.
He's like probably, he's like, wasn't he like the number one, he's number one YouTuber? And that's what he came out with. And then there's something else that they came out with. Like he won a reward for the biggest knockout of 2020. Wow. So that's pretty big, especially coming from YouTube. But like just the whole experience working with my personal.
Do you feel like you've gotten like more of a
notoriety?
And things?
Yeah, I got more notoriety, and it's because of my friend Dejan, the personal trainer for Jake Paul.
Amazing.
He put me in a situation and was like, "Hey man, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. We need gear." I wasn't handling the actual like fight shorts. That's Shay, who I'm actually close with as well. I was doing more of like the camp wear.
Got it.
So, but it was even cool to be in different situations like that, because I think people start seeing you climb.
Yes.
And it's like, it's not like something that they need to, but it shows like, dang, he's still going.
And they believe enough to
it.
say, and again, it goes back. I think there's a common theme here. Like, it's
right.
like, just put you in the ring, and you will definitely figure it out and deliver, which is good, because then that helps other people know, like, okay, if I introduce you to someone, you're not gonna embarrass me. You're gonna actually
on top
get
of the fact that like people like to see you.
Yeah.
They want to fuck with you when you pop it already. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have been down from the beginning, but now that people start to see you in these spaces with like Uber, Boys and Girls Club, Jake Paul, they're like, oh,
let's help you be a part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to get to the next thing.
That's gonna help you continue to move forward in that same space. So
I agree with that.
Yeah. So what's kind of like the next thing overall that you see for the cause? Like what's happening in the next 2 years?
Oh, he's hot. Okay, you ready?
I'm hot. So we just dropped today our campaign for our next give back. We just dropped it today, guys.
Wow.
You guys understand that?
Are we the first promo?
Come on. Promo. It was only right.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, what we're doing here at the cause, I've been waiting to do this for like 2.5 years, just because of COVID. Our last give back, I wanted to use that momentum to go into our next give back, but we couldn't.
Right.
Because the world just stopped. But we are about to. What we are doing, we're fundraising and campaigning for our world tour with the Cause International.
Okay.
So first, like you said in the beginning, we gotta start off at home.
Yes.
And we're gonna pick a high school in LA, and the entire senior graduating class, we're gonna be giving them a laptop. Then we're gonna go to Minnesota. We're gonna go to the Boys and Girls Club, and we're gonna connect them to universities to help tutoring, to change this so we're not
Love
just
it.
doing the same
Love
thing.
it. Love it.
And then we're going to retrofit as well, get them gear, get them nice stuff, have guest speakers as well. Stay tuned. We got some great things coming.
All right.
And then New York, we're going to Brooklyn.
Okay.
Okay, Brooklyn.
Come on
Right.
And I'm doing that because one of my best friends, his name's Rasheed Lacario, he's been to every single give back with the Cause International.
Love that.
Met him when I was a freshman in college, and we're going to his high school, Crystal Ray High School.
Okay.
And that's just phase 1.
Yeah.
So in order to accomplish all of that, to the magnitude that we want to do, we have to raise $320,000.
All right.
And that's ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Because that's just the first phase, and we have 8 phases.
Wow.
Yeah. So
for 2022, 8 phases and.
Yeah. So
Okay.
once we get done.
Oh,
with
this is
phase,
what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah, so it's our next campaign. So
Yes.
it's about to be a big campaign, long
Yes.
campaign, but this type of campaign is going to get us to Netflix, going to get us to Hulu.
All
And I
right.
say that because now, like, we've already done, like, amazing work.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the world to know, like, who we truly are.
True.
Because the cause, just like our story in general, my story in general is remarkable, is inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
And not to toot my own horn, but, like, I think I'm coming to a time in my life where I know, like, how much value I have. And I know somebody who, in my position, we're giving all this, like, power or, like, fame or notoriety to people that are not really holding it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm going to use my platform to continue to change the world. And I know what it is. I stayed down. So I'm so excited to start my campaign mode. I haven't been in this type of zone since, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now going back to, like, who I am and what I truly care about, because this is what I love doing. So, like, they're
It's
about to
very
get all
clear.
of me. You feel me?
I want to make sure that we touch on first of all, kudos. And
Right.
we're ready. We are ready for what 2022 has in store.
Whatever
for
you need.
And
Platforms are better. Come on.
obviously the LA Give Back, we're there.
I
So,
say less.
so that's
I say
it.
less.
Yeah.
But I do want to know about, like, I love what you said in terms of a lot of times these days, folks are given notoriety that don't really hold it. Don't really
Yeah, that was
deserve
a
it.
good,
Let's dive into that a little bit, because I feel like we all can interpret that. But let's talk about what do you mean by that and why.
I think what's really cool about me is I have a lot of different layers to me. And I've been an athlete, so I can connect with athletes. I also manage artists. So, like, I'm in the music game. And I think as just young minorities, we kind of tend to just go to those 2 routes.
Right.
And I love showing people, like, okay, I do that, but this is what I'm about to be known for. And I think just seeing, like, dang, like, this guy became successful for giving back and figuring out different ways of how he can leverage his business and make the... Because, like, honestly, when you're buying clothes for me, I'm forcing you to give back.
Yeah.
Because I don't even care about the clothes.
Right.
Respectfully. Like,
Yeah,
I don't care about the clothes.
Right.
I care about changing the world. So, like, now you become a believer. Now you become somebody who gives back just because you want to rock something cool. So I'm kind of, like, forcing that on you. And I think if I'm in those type of situations, as I continue to grow, because I am starting to get into, like, different positions where, like, you know, people are starting to look up to me, or, like, people in the city are starting to be like, no, that's Antoine.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like, I know, like, I see it. Like, I see, like, people's perspectives of me changing.
Right.
And I just want to always show them, like, you know, it's all, obviously chase your dreams, obviously stay down, but at the end of the day, you know, like, you're only here for a limited amount of time. What about you is going to last for legacies to live on?
Right.
And I know, for me, it's going to be, he literally changed the entire world.
Yeah.
And starts off with the minority, not even the minorities, but just, like, anyone and everyone who is going through any type of struggle in high school and trying to figure out that next step. I want to be there for you. I want to build out platforms so my platforms can be the places you reach out to help you figure out that next step. And for free.
Yeah.
Another cool thing I want to just tap in is I have interns in college that intern through me to help high school kids get to college. That right there is That right there is so powerful because high school kids don't want to listen to you.
Right.
They're already at me like, oh yeah, bro's old.
Right.
So I'm 25 and I'm old.
Right.
They want to listen to people that are in their position. So I'm putting people who just are in college, sophomores, juniors, and I'm saying, like, okay, you want this credit for your class? All I need you to do is help this person. Now all I need you to do is just help this person right here.
Right.
With the Common App.
Right.
Help them with the essay. okay, you win. All right, perfect. Now you need an A, go get an A, go help him out.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I'm forcing you. You see how I'm...
Right.
Yeah.
That's why...
the cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even like what you were saying, Keeks, too, and like to add on to kind of say like to put people in positions that aren't really like holding their weight.
Right.
I think that, you know, we have some role models or people that people look up to, like all of the like social media like you know, chatter boxes on Instagram that kind of give you like hashtag respectfully, you know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
And you know, just like the gossip sites, and it's kind of like it quote unquote shows Black culture, but then at the same time it's like, is that even a great representation of like what we have to offer as people? And so I think like platforms like this, platforms like what you have going on, really shows a more variety of like the power that Black people have. Because we are like the top spenders, like we influence the culture, all of the things, and it's like sometimes it just gets such a negative connotation and like negative rap on like
we get the negative, and then the positive gets appropriated. So it's kind of like, okay, you can have those, but I'm going to take that and spin it and market it as if we created it. When that's not the truth.
Exactly.
But we love what you're doing.
Love what you're doing.
That it's like an amazing cause and an amazing place for people to either do volunteer for. You know, Antoine's always looking for opportunities for people to help. So if you want to be a part of the team or want to help out in any aspect, please reach out to him. So, you know, Keeks, please tell us what else. Another cause that is doing amazing over here.
It's obviously the Black Creators Club. So we work really hard to produce this show, and the best way that you can support us is to just share this show with a friend. You know, subscribe to our YouTube page, our Apple and Spotify pages, and when you do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Everything is at the Black Creators Club, and if you have a guest, if you want to be a guest, definitely reach out to us at theblackcreatorsclub@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Where can they reach out to you, Antoine, to find out more about the cause and
more about what you have going on?
Yeah, so you can reach out to our streetwear brand if you are drawn towards that part of the cause at the cause, THECAUSEINT. And if you like the part where we lock in with different schools and apparels, you can do the cause teams at THECAUSETAMS. Oh, you're gonna put the @ on.
Yeah.
See, that's how you know I'm about to be on podcast.
Right. Well, you can call it out, make sure you got it right.
And then obviously you can follow me, connect with me. I'm gonna respond at Antoine Taylor.
Perfect. Okay, Keeks, where can they find you?
Yes, you can find me chatting media and life motivation, all with a dash of style at Aquila Friend. Where can I find you, Eb?
You guys can find me on Instagram at EbonyChapman12, talking everything Black owned business, and of course the Black Creators Club. We've had the most amazing time with Antoine and the cause, everything that he's doing, giving back. You know, we are so excited to be a part of the next giveaway, the next give back. Maybe we can host the little pop-up shop, whatever else you got going on. You're ready and here and willing to serve. You gotta shoot your shot when you shoot your shot. You know, if anything else I learned today, was shoot your shot when you can, okay? You guys continue to love, subscribe, like, comment, follow us. And you guys remember to always abide by your ABCs. Always be creating.